We're live in Hephzibah, Georgia here on this Friday night. It's the first Friday night of the 2019 high school football campaign. Tonight it's the Hephzibah Rebels taking on the Academy of Richmond Musketeers. It's the AugBball Game of the Week powered by SUVtv. Hello everyone, Corey Hodges, Sylvester Williams here with you. We are so excited to get this grand journey underway, and it all starts tonight. Should be a really good one. You know, we had a chance, went through our conference call, and we were talking to both of the coaches, Coach Harrell for Hephzibah and Coach Burns for Richmond, and they were saying to both of us and Chad Cook and Marcus Burnett and everyone on this team that it's going to be a tough battle tonight because on paper it should be Richmond Academy that gets this win. After all, Hephzibah has not beaten Richmond Academy since 2008. So the big question is, Sly, how tonight is Hephzibah going to get an upset? It's been 11 years since they've gotten a win.
It's been 11 years since Hephzibah has beat Richmond Academy. Academy of Richmond County. Let's get that right.
That's right.
All right, but what's going on? The Academy of Richmond County, they are young.
Sure.
They are young up front. They have nothing but juniors on the offensive line. Their starting quarterback is a 10th grader, and if he goes down, the backup is a 9th grader.
Right.
So age has a lot to do with why Hephzibah is the favorite for the night.
Sure.
Should be a great one, though.
It's really exciting because you throw that youth element in there as well, as you just alluded to, and suddenly there's some things that are a little bit uncertain, if you will. Now, looking more into that, you talk about a quarterback who's coming in and trying to get some reps here early on. That's going to cause a big clash possibly with youth going up against experience. You see the graphic there on your screen. Now Hephzibah 8-3 last season, while Richmond Academy was 7-4. Richmond Academy winning last season's matchup, of course. That was the 10th straight year they had done that by a score of 45-20. And there's the big note, Sly. Hephzibah has not defeated Richmond Academy since 2008, and that almost leads us into our at-a-glance look at the matchup. And we mentioned 8-3 for Hephzibah, Richmond Academy 7-4. Something big has to happen tonight for Hephzibah to pull the upset. But as you know, former player, things are always a little bit better at home, and the crowd is really fired up first night of the season.
First night of the season, perfect football weather. It started off, it was 98 degrees all throughout the state of Georgia all week long. We got us a nice thunderstorm that came in and cooled things down a little bit. It's football time, man. Hey, I love it, man. And you're right. That home field, that home crowd, it just feels good as a player to be able to open up at home, open up in front of the people who love you, the people who know you.
That's it.
Feels good to play at home.
Yeah, you've got all the hometown fans here, of course. They're ready to cheer on their team. And, if we move from taking a look just at a glance at the matchup tonight, and we we're going to do this in a little bit, but the coach close-ups will look at Coach William Harrell and Coach Lyle Burns for Hephzibah and Richmond specifically and respectively, but mentioning the heat and the weather the way it is right now. Everything seems to be so sweltering. That was a big part of our conference call on Wednesday night, was how do you deal with the heat? And Coach Burns had a great outline of that. He's been getting these guys ready. He's putting them in the weight room. They're lifting extra, but they have more nutrition as well. He was outlining something about shakes and extra meals and ways to stay hydrated and with nutrition, because it is still going to be in the high 80s at kickoff.
That was a great thing, Coach. We talked to Coach Burns about before on Wednesday night. We talked with him on Wednesday night, and he said at lunchtime they make sure every player gets 2 Gatorades. 2 Gatorades to fill himself up, get him something to drink. He said all throughout the off season they had a lunch and a breakfast and a lunch program for the young men, so they could, make sure you eat, make sure you got some fuel in you. And speaking of fuel, they have a great weight program. Their strength coach, Michael Buckshaw is their strength coach, and Coach Burns was giving Coach Buckshaw all the praises in the world about how he's getting his guys ready, and how he has all the certifications and everything that you would find at somebody at UGA or a real college, University of South Carolina. But I would tell you right now, in the fall, in the fall, in the beginning of the year, this is what we call pickle juice and banana weather. Pickle juice and bananas. You have to have your pickle juice and your bananas. You have to have that potassium in you. to get ready to fight these cramps. Get that Charlie horse. You got to have that pickle juice in those bananas.
Yeah, that's my dad used to play, and I remember in high school he would tell me about tales from the 60s, the late 60s, saying that he was allergic and still is to potassium, so it put the coaches in a tough situation. How am I able to get my nutrition? They had to find pears and apples and stuff like that. He went down the smorgasbord for fruit, and he was ready to go. But yeah, you were speaking about Michael Buckshaw. As you take a look at the Hephzibah Rebels on the field, we are just a couple of moments away from getting this game going. 7:22, about 8 minutes until kickoff. But Michael Buckshaw, Coach Burns said that Michael Buckshaw is as qualified as Georgia or Alabama's personnel. And as you said, we're talking about big-time company for Michael Buckshaw. Quite the comparison there for Coach Burns.
I tell you, those are big shoes to fill right there, you know. There's a Coach Burns right there. We got Coach Burns over on the sideline. He's getting ready. Everybody's getting ready for that opening coin toss. But like you were saying, that's a huge comparison, and it's such a great advantage to have on the high school level, to have a strength and conditioning coach who can work with you. And you know, we're talking about strength and conditioning, but in the fall, right here in this time, it's more about conditioning.
Right.
That part of his job.
Yeah, that's right. You're doing all the work in the spring and then throughout the summer to get ready for tonight. We were seeing Coach Burns there a couple moments ago for Richmond Academy, his third season at the Academy of Richmond County. Came over from Elbert County and coached at Westside and Grovetown prior to Elbert County, as the Rebels and the Musketeers meeting on the field, the captains and co-captains heading out. And for Hephzibah, you see them lined up there, and that's Marshall Chambers, the captain, the Enoch Howard, Eshawn Mays, they're there as well. A lot of talk about Enoch Howard, and of course Ronald Coleman III there for Hephzibah. And for the Academy of Richmond County, to Darius Davis, Chris Murray, Roderick Jones, and Dante Lawrence. So Sly, you see them out there and they're ready to go, all 8 combined. And just reading off those names, I know you know as well as anyone, these are the the big 8, if you will. Not a conference, but 8 guys that are going to be big tonight for their respective teams.
I'm telling you, these are some players that we definitely want to look out for. These are the guys, your players to watch over here. You know, you start off, let's go with on the home side, Enoch Howard. Enoch Howard, he's a preseason All-State candidate. Preseason All-State candidate. He has all the bells and whistles. He's committed to go to Liberty.
Right.
Liberty's up there in West Virginia.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Should be a very good showing for him. Also Eshawn Mays. Eshawn Mays, younger brother of Elijah Mays.
Right. Big
time player here last year at Hephzibah. But on the other side, your captains are Tadarius Davis, Chris Murray, Roderick Jones, and Dante Lawrence. These are all players, all senior leaders, all people you expect to come out there and guide your program to the victory.
That's what you would expect, and certainly there's been a whole lot of hype around those 8 players for them for Hephzibah now heading off. But yeah, so much talk about Enoch Howard especially, but with the 4 for Hephzibah, the 4 for Richmond that we were highlighting, we should go through before the banner is broken. It'll be the first of the season. We'll see that here in a couple moments. But a few inactives, injuries for Hephzibah. Sly, you have them for us.
Yeah, Hephzibah, right now we're going to have Christopher Clark. He broke his ankle. He'll be out for about 6 weeks. Jarius Griffin, he has a sprained knee. He'll be out for 2 weeks. And concussion protocol is Jonathan Atkins. Jonathan, he'll be out. He'll be out for 2 weeks in that concussion protocol. And the questionable guy is Dominique Morris. Dominique Morris sprained his knee, and he is questionable. He is a game-time decision. Coach Orrell said he'll be a game-time decision. Now, on the other side, the Academy of Richmond County, they come pretty healthy. They have one guy, Jaden Griffin. Jaden Griffin pulled the hammy, so Jaden might be a little hurt. He's kind of another game-time decision, but ARC is relatively healthy.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Only one out for ARC tonight. That's right receiver Jaden Griffey. That's a hamstring injury for ARC, so that's going to be their one lone out for tonight. So now we have both teams, both Hephzibah and Academy of Richmond County out there. Let's move on now to the keys to the game presented by Lineage of Champions. And Sly, you have those keys for us.
Heat check.
That's it.
Heat check whoever wins the conditioning battle. The fundamentals, turnovers, field position, and Uncle Mo, Mr. Momentum. The QB matchup, the game manager versus the go-getter. Like I said, we have a young sophomore who will be leading the way for ARC, but we have the wily vet, the wily junior, Mr. Chambers, leading the way for Hephzibah. Oh, man, I'm ready.
We're ready to go. Friday Night Lights in Hephzibah, Georgia. SUVtv, the entire gang, ready to go. We've been anticipating this for weeks, possibly months. We're off and away from Hephzibah High School. That one will bound around the 15-yard line, picked up, and a big tackle is made, and Hephzibah covering that kick very well.
Hey, that's what I like to see, running down the field, setting the tone here on the first game of the year. Who is that out there? Jaden Wofford out there laying the wood, getting things going to start the season off.
So here's a second look at it before the first snap of the night. Ooh, that was low power and a big move on Cordavian Wayman, who was the returner for ARC. First down at the 15. That's where the first drive of 2019 will start for the Musketeers.
Referee's still getting in shape out here, too.
Yeah, he's got to get his banana and fruit too, right? Well, that quarterback, Maurice Freeman, and Freeman's going to hand the ball off a couple of steps forward for Israel Dorsey. And
I like that. Just a basic off-tackle play right here to get things going straight out of the shotgun, coming off the edge. Good job of blocking by the offensive line. You know, offensive line, you want to go and smack your man in the face to get things started. Good job. Nice, solid pickup, 4-yard run.
Second and 7 for ARC. Hephzibah and Richmond meeting after a big win last year for the visitors. It's not going to get much on another carry there for the Musketeers. That again appeared to be Dorsey. It was.
And now here's the thing. I just spoke really well about the offensive line, and now I come right back, and the offensive line, they're leaking like a seal. You know, the defensive line is just powering their way in the backfield to send them back 5 more yards, and now you have 3rd and 10.
Yeah, Dorsey got it that time, almost a direct snap to Dorsey.
Now I want you to be careful. Look, it's nobody over the top for Hephzibah. It looks like they may be playing some type of man-to-man. Nobody in that center of the field. See what happens.
Well, here's the pass. It's caught, and now a bolting move to the 40, 50, trying to cut to the 40 along the sideline, tiptoeing, went out. But that was a great catch for Cordavian Wayman.
And you know what opened that up? That was man-to-man coverage on that side of the field. He ran a quick slant to the inside. It's no safety help. Linebacker didn't drop into that curl zone, and now you have it. 40 yards later, it's 1st and 10 down the field. I should play the lottery, I call him that.
I know, right? Yeah. How about the Georgia Lottery giving a chance here to win some big bucks and watch some big football. A big drive going here early on for Richmond County. And a couple of signs there for Maurice Freeman, one in the backfield. That's Dorsey. Hand off to Israel Dorsey. He gets a couple out close to the 30-yard line.
I like that play. Just straight up the middle. Go with what you know. You have a young quarterback. You don't want to put too much on his shoulders. But I love that pass play, the play before, because it was a simple slant, and that you build confidence in your quarterback. You let your running back get easy runs like that. There you go.
In on the tackle, one for Hephzibah. It was Ivan Arroyo. And we spoke about Arroyo in our conference call as well on Wednesday. Here's a carry for ARC, again for Isaiah Dorsey. That's Isaiah Dorsey and Israel Dorsey, the two Dorsey twins or the brothers for Academy of Richmond County tonight.
And Eshawn Mays came up and made that sure tackle, wrapped all the way up, brought his man down, waited for his team to come over there and help him. That's a good open field, not necessarily open field, but a good man-on-man tackle right there by Mays.
Saw a look at number 8, Enoch Howard, for Hephzibah a couple moments ago.
They're over there playing tossy-toss with the hand towel over there.
One in the backfield. It's one of the Dorseys. Here's a wobbling ball that is caught. Again, another grab by Cordavian Wayman.
I love what Coach Burns is doing with his quarterback right now. He's not forcing his quarterback to make difficult throws or hard throws. That first pass he threw was an inside slant. The second one was that little shuttle screen. Not hard throws, easy throws to build confidence in a 10th grade quarterback. I like that. I like that.
Jaden Wofford was one for Hephzibah on the tackle for Isaiah Dorsey. Isaiah Dorsey wears number 3. Israel Dorsey wears number 5. And we've seen each of them in the backfield so far. Here's a quarterback keeper, a carry. That started out pretty strong and then was eventually wrapped up by Hephzibah. Maurice Freeman taking it on his own that time.
And see, this is a great job of play calling. What you did, you ran that power, not that power run, that quick handoff to your tailback to the right a couple of times. This time you let the quarterback pull it, keep it himself, picks up 6 yards. Mix it up a little bit.
We're seeing that for Freeman, who has had no problem going through the air. Here's a carry. It's one of the Dorseys, Isaiah Dorsey that time, for maybe 1.
And right now is the time for Hephzibah to look themselves in the mirror, because they're getting smacked in the mouth right now by ARC.
Yeah.
They're getting smacked in the mouth. So now let's see if Hephzibah can look themselves in the mirror and say, hey, I'm a bigger man than you right now. Somebody has to step up and deliver some power and deliver some pain over there on the defense.
Yeah, big victory last season for Richmond Academy as they rolled over Hephzibah. That was in the 2018 opener. Here's a handoff carry and fighting through a couple. Isaiah Dorsey, a few for Hephzibah. We're looking to contain Dorsey. We'll have another look at it here.
And just running straight downhill. You know, right now, ARC, they aren't running anything special, anything tricky. They're just coming straight up. They're lining up in front of you. They got a couple of different formations, but the runs are still the same.
Yeah, it's been pretty run heavy so far, with the exception of a couple passes for Freeman, and most of those have been going to Cordavian Wayman. One in the backfield. Here's a carry for Israel Dorsey. Dorsey pounding ahead, gets to about the 5-yard line before he stopped. Matches his jersey number.
There you go, and Dorsey's running hard.
Yeah.
Whatever running back they're subbing in there at the moment, he's running hard behind his shoulder pass. And look at that. We ought to call him martyr. I don't know what the public transportation is, but he should be charging these kids for a ride the way he's carrying them, man.
Almost like a school bus that time. He had a little bit of help in the driver's seat, if you will, to Darius Davis. You saw Davis, number 6, paving the way that time. Again, the carry to Israel Dorsey, and ARC is right on the precipice of picking up the first score of the night. 6:34 to go in the opening quarter. No score, but Richmond is there. And Hephzibah will call the evening's first timeout. A look there at head coach William Harrell.
Yep, had a good talk with Coach Harrell on Wednesday night, and I'm pretty sure if you're in that huddle, that defensive coordinator right now, he's issuing a challenge to his teammates right now. He's issuing a challenge. He's saying, look, man, this is it. This is goal line right here.
That's it.
All this is who's the bigger man? Who's the better? I guarantee it's going to be no trickery in this dancery right here on this play. They're going straight between the tackles, straight up the middle, what we like to call the 1 hole, the 0 hole, the 3 hole, or the 4 hole. That's exactly where they're going on this run. But now somebody from Hephzibah has to step up and answer the bell.
Yeah, trying to fill those spots. Typically, Coach Harrell saying they would like to run a 6-3 if possible in their goal line defense. See if maybe that's employed here or sometime tonight. If Richmond continues to pester, that's a push ahead and into the end zone for the touchdown scored. First of the night, Rashad Williams gets in, and the Musketeers lead Hephzibah 6-0 with 6:23 left in the opening quarter. That's the first touchdown here in 2019 on SUVtv.
Hey, straight ahead, nothing fancy, nothing tricky. I'm just lining up, and I'm tougher than you. That's all that drive was, all the way down the field.
Yeah, just a big push ahead for the score after a nice and tidy drive for the Musketeers. Here's Pickett, Judson Pickett with the extra point. That one's good, 7-0. Richmond on top of Hephzibah. So we've seen that big drive. There's head coach Lyle Burns. And as always, making sure everyone gets some acknowledgement after, Hephzibah was on the original kickoff and made a nice wallop on the return, but then after that it seemed like Richmond started to get some things going their waistline. They moved their way down the field in a hurry.
And right now you give credit on that touchdown drive to the guys who don't get their name called a lot. That offensive line. That's all that was. The offensive line just lined up and just ran straight ahead, straight forward and blocked. A lot of teams You get tricky sometimes. Sometimes you want to spread the offense out and run a double reverse pump, fake pass, kick back to the receiver. I don't know. But right there, all they did, line straight up and go straight ahead. That's the old single wing offense right there. Nothing special about it.
Yeah, we heard a lot from Coach Harrell about Hephzibah, so much that we almost struggled to contain everything in a couple pages of our notebooks. But for ARC, Coach Burns keeping it relatively simple, and we saw that put into practice right there. Here's the kickoff by Pickett, who got the extra point, and we have a whistle.
I think we may have offsides.
We'll wait the call to be our first penalty issued on this Friday. Big staff tonight for our referee crew. We'll outline those in a moment or two. Here's another look at the, we were going to take another look there for a moment, but this is live action now as, again, it's Judson Pickett. Pickett will go from the 45, that's where the kickoff will begin. And around the 20, that ball is secured. He was pretty well covered up. That was Eric Harris for Hephzibah.
And right now, the two return man, that's about communication. Right there, Javion Harris was the up guy. Rule number one, if you're the up guy, you never go back. You should go up. And because he went back, he bumped into the return guy, and then that caused the return guy to take a knee right there. Early season. I'm going to say this so much, that those two words, early season, early season. These are things you got to correct.
It's all about getting it worked out. First couple weeks, almost like preseason in the NFL. We get our first look at Hephzibah tonight. This is a keeper for the quarterback, but two for ARC on Hephzibah quarterback Marshall Chambers. We'll see the two that got all over Chambers in a moment, Sly.
Ladarius Davis, that's one of the twins.
Yeah.
The twin powers, man, over here. Look at him shed his block. He might have got held on the play. Still went up there and made the tackle for a big-time loss. That's about an 8 or 9 yard loss on the play.
Yeah, Davis was in on that along with, Williams, as you said. So a double move that time on Marshall Chambers. As a result, Hephzibah is stymied a little bit here early. And that's a crash out to about the 15-yard line. Harris with the run that time for Hephzibah.
And right now, Harris trying to find his way off tackle, getting behind those blockers. Look at him, got his hand on the hip of his blocker, trying to find that way. This is when you have to have that good field vision. If you notice, look at him, his hand on his blocker's hip. Got to cut back inside. Cut back inside. You got about 5 more yards you can pick up on that play.
Yeah, there may have been a soft underbelly there that was not used up by Harris. About 5 minutes remaining here in the opening quarter. Ball on the 15-yard line for Hephzibah. Chambers will send one in motion. It's a high snap, bobbled for a moment. Chambers securing it. Here comes the pressure. Chambers trying to stay out of the end zone. Ball came out. Big-time pressure that time for ARC. It looked like that was applied by possibly Derek Jones. We'll have to get another look at that. Here's the replay.
See, right now, if you're Chambers, you got to be smarter than this right here. I know you're anxious to try to make something happen. He's an athlete. He's a good player. He wants to make something happen. But once you realize that play's dead like that, you drop straight to your knees. If he would have dropped straight to his knees, you know they may have that ball on the 5-yard line. A little bit better punting situation for your punter. But you know what? It's easy for me to say that when I'm up here in this booth.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Isaiah Dorsey making it look pretty easy that time. He was all over Chambers. But, again, you're just trying to work things out here early on. And the biggest thing there is the fact that Hephzibah was able to avoid a safety, got it at least out of the perimeter of the end zone, and kept the scoreboard clear in terms of extra points. That one will bound close to the 40. We'll call it 39-yard line. Not bad on the kick, despite it coming right out of the house.
Good job. I think it was that Eric Harris. Eric Harris was your punter. Good job by Harris of catching the ball first. Rule number 1.
That's it.
Got to catch the ball, and he still managed to get away a good punt. Got a good home field roll, too, to help him out. Ball on the 39-yard line. It could have been a whole lot worse.
It could have been, especially from that position, and especially still here in the first quarter. With 4 minutes to go here, opening frame, 7-0, Richmond over Hephzibah. Here's a carry, and again, that's Dorsey, Israel Dorsey that time with the carry.
I like Dorsey. Dorsey's running behind his pads, man.
Yeah.
You know, one thing about a running back, you can either be a running back who's going to get hit, or you can be a running back who's going to hit somebody. And I think Dorsey likes to hit somebody. Look at him get behind his pads when he's rolling. Boom. Get there. Throw a shoulder at somebody.
Maurice Freeman right there to feed Dorsey. Again, here's Freeman. And another handoff. That's out to maybe the 29-yard line that time for Israel Dorsey. Back-to-back to Israel.
Back to Dorsey. Hey, when you got a horse, ride it.
That's it. Yeah, we might as well be in Kentucky almost. Go ahead and get on the horse and keep going. Dorsey seems to be that horse so far for Academy of Richmond County. The Musketeers lead by a touchdown, and we'll see, despite the field being a little bit shorter here on possession number 2 for the Musketeers, if they employ the run-run-pass type of pattern that we saw in that opening drive that did result in a touchdown.
Like one of my tests in college, true, false, true, false.
Yeah, sometimes you close your eyes, you just go and guess. It's got to be one of them. I've done that myself. Here's another handoff and a big carry again. Israel Dorsey, that's 3 straight, Sly, and the Musketeers are riding Dorsey right now.
I'm telling you, just Dorsey left, Dorsey right. It doesn't matter. Yeah. See, look at him. He gets down there, and he's following his blockers. He has 2 lead guards out there, and look at him stick that arm out there for that straight arm. Boom! Straight arm your man. Push him. That's a grown man run right there. Somebody check his birth certificate out there running like that.
Yeah, he may have been in my territory. He could have been a 1990 guy with that kind of experience.
I'm telling you.
Who knows? Well, they'll change it up this time with ARC. They'll go to Isaiah Dorsey, and Isaiah, looking like Israel. Pretty good that time.
Hey, they might be related.
It's a possibility, yeah.
They could. We got 2 sets of twins over here for ARC. How often do you see 2 sets of twins on one team?
I know. That was the biggest thing that we picked up on earlier this week. You've got 2 sets out there. One is usually enough of an oddity. And this is Freeman. He'll keep it on his own. 360-degree spin move that time. Almost got him out of trouble. Really, it did get him out of trouble. He's down to around the 15-yard line. Here it is again.
Look at the replay. The youngster trying to get to the outside, doing a good job of avoiding right here. And this guy right here, this is the guy. You got to make that tackle. He has to make that tackle. But good job of cleanup by his teammate of coming over the top to make that tackle and stop him. Right there for a pickup of maybe 1. He might have got 1 on that one.
Ja'Cory Johnson, it's number 12 there for Hephzibah. He almost wrangled up Maurice Freeman, but not to be. About 1:40 left here in the opening quarter, and Richmond is looking for possibly a touchdown on their second straight drive. There's a carry and taken care of. Down Isaiah Dorsey that time. Dorsey corralled by Nicholas Callan.
You know what I like about these 2 Dorsey kids? They don't mind running inside of the tackle. That play, they were trying to get to the outside, but he stopped on a dime and cut it upfield and just keep on going inside. You know, not trying to reach that sideline. I like that. I like runners who will run between the tackles.
It's Freeman, and Isaiah Dorsey is joining him in the backfield. Freeman with a glance or two to the sidelines for some instructions. We'll have a timeout.
And now here is your sophomore quarterback right here.
Yeah.
That's your youngster. what happens with a lot of coaches nowadays, they're calling the plays in from the sideline. Some of them are holding up signs on each sideline or whatever, trying to get the plays in. You got a sophomore making his first high school start, so he's not going to be as quick. He's not going to be as fast as some of your as you would hope your upperclassman quarterback would. But you got a coach. He has some timeouts.
Sure.
You can't take the timeouts with you.
No, that's right. Can't take them with you. You need to go ahead and use them while you have them. That was one thing the head coach Lyle Burns was discussing with us earlier in the week, really just about the team as a whole. A lot of togetherness, and that goes back to that point we were making in the pregame show about sitting down and just eating together and being a part of each other's lives. Of course, with the added nutrition boost, that means more meals together, sitting down at the cafeteria table. And Coach Burns saying togetherness and sitting down to eat and talk, it helps you leave practice where it was and then go out and have maybe a little bit different mindset. ARC will go ahead and go for the field goal. Kick is up and good. So that one put through. Judson Pickett, number 18, Pickett. That's the points for the field goal, and with 48 seconds left here in the opening quarter, 10-0, ARC over Hephzibah.
That's a 32-yard field goal, and what I like about the kicker, he kicked that thing. He just took 2 steps. He didn't. It wasn't nothing fancy or you know how the kickers they walk back 2 steps to the side, 3 steps.
Right.
He just plant my foot and knock it through.
No cha-cha slide, no Happy Gilmore needed at that time for Judson Pickett. So Pickett makes it 10-0. Academy of Richmond County over Hephzibah. Only about 40 seconds and change, 48 seconds to be exact, before we close our first quarter of the 2019 season here on the AugBball Game of the Week, our first of 2019 here on SUVtv. Corey Hodges, Sylvester Williams here with you, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in the second quarter, and with Richmond up by 10.
Hey, Corey, we love fan participation up here. Be sure to tweet us. If you're watching this thing live, tweet us at SUVtv. Go ahead, tweet us. Let us know what you think. Let us know how you feel. Tweet us at SUVtv. Matter of fact, if you're watching this game tomorrow, if it's Saturday and you're in the barbershop, tweet us. You can tweet Corey. Where can they tweet you at, Corey?
At the THE_Corey, Corey, Hodges, Hodges.
And you can tweet me at Slide the Sports Guy. Just go ahead, tweet us. Let us know how good we're doing, and let me know how good I look. That always makes me feel better.
Everybody loves some social media love. Well, Hephzibah down by 10, and they'll start this drive just past the 25.
And I want you to notice something about that kick. It's a different guy.
That's right.
It's a different guy in there. J. Michael Ryans was now the up back. The last time they kicked off, they had another kid out there, and he backed up. This time, coach says, nah, you get one mistake, you're out of here. Let's put somebody else in who knows what he's doing. Yeah,
Harris took it out the first time, Sly, that's right. And Coach Harrell deciding to change it up. And as a result, it was a little bit of a less complicated kickoff return. Here's a handoff. Well, not really much room that time. Looked to be there for maybe a moment, but Javion Harris was stopped fairly quickly by ARC.
See, I love to see that. I love to see a linebacker coming up and forcing the issue right here. I'm an ex-linebacker. I played linebacker in college. You know, that I love to see when a linebacker comes up there and force that issue like you do on the inside.
So 16 seconds before we finish things here in the opening quarter. Hephzibah time for one more play. Chambers will pass. It's caught, complete, run on the way after the catch. Eric Harris.
Eric Harris, good toss and catch right there. Great job to get confidence in your quarterback. Your quarterback had a big-time run that lost about 15 yards on a play. Get great confidence. Throw that short pass to him. Let your receiver do the work, and Harris did the work.
Hephzibah was going to have to hustle that time to get a play off before the end of the first quarter, but the first quarter does expire. Hephzibah has the ball, and they will continue to possess the football when we come back in the second quarter. It's 10-0, Academy of Richmond County over the Hephzibah Rebels. We pause for the first time on this Friday night, for the first time this season, on SUVtv. We'll come back.
I'm at Lions Memorial Field. the home field for the 9th annual CSRA All-Star Bowl games, which will be played on December 21st. The CSRA All-Star Bowl Week is a foundational sponsor of the AugBball Game of the Week.
We return back here on SUVtv on this Friday night, and a big play over the break, Sly.
Big play, 28-yard pass, complete to Harris across the middle. Big-time pickup for Harris to get things going to start the second quarter out.
Flipping sides of the field for Chambers. Marshall Chambers at quarterback for Hephzibah. Chambers keeping it on his own. Chambers to the 30, out to the 25.
Now that is a smart play by Chambers. I love the composure that the young man had. He rolled out, and what he did when he rolled out, look, he still has his eye open down the field. He's still looking down the field, and now he decides to pull it down. He didn't come out there like a bat out of you-know-what and take off the run. He came out and he was still looking for some options, and when he realized the options wasn't there, then he tucked it and ran. Now that's a big-time play by your junior quarterback. That's what you like to see.
Coach William Harrell was speaking about Hephzibah quarterback Marshall Chambers, saying he has a run-pass option, play action. He's also got a sprint out. We saw a sprint out and a run that time for Chambers. Ball will be snapped at about the 29-yard line for the Hephzibah Rebels, down by 10, but they have something going here. Here's a run with some help support, but closed out there at the end by ARC. That was Javion Harris.
I don't know right there, man. I got Coach Charlie Macaluso, Dean of all Columbia area coaches, my high school coach. He might have called that one tiptoeing through the tulips. Tiptoeing through the tulips. I'm going to get it right. It's early in the season. You got to put your foot in the ground, and you got to make up your mind what you're going to do, inside or outside. Give me something.
No flower power that time for Javion Harris.
I got tongue-tied on all those keys.
That's a tough one. I didn't know you were going to pull that one out that early. Yeah, I would have struggled on that one too. Well, we're just getting going here in the second quarter. Another high snap to Marshall Chambers at quarterback for Hephzibah. Chambers keeping it on his own. Now he'll toss. It's complete, and that is a touchdown. The Rebels are on the board into the end zone for the score was Xavier McClatty.
Now that is beautiful. That is a beautiful play by a quarterback. Look at him roll to the outside, stay lateral, stay back, and then find this wide open man. And look at that. Now look, he took a little contact here at the end. Ooh, yeah, that neck went back the wrong way.
And someone lost spectacles as well down there on the ground.
Hey.
There comes McClatty back. That was a tough hit right there at the goal line, Sly. You're right.
When he looks at the film tomorrow, he'll forget all about that hit.
Yeah.
When he remembers that touchdown.
In one shoulder, out the other. Hephzibah will line up for the extra point. Ivan Arroyo. And that one low, took a bounce, and it counts. Well, almost like a chip shot at Augusta National. It was low. Got a bounce like you're rolling it up the fairway. A little Tiger-esque that time for Ivan Arroyo. The extra point counts, and Hephzibah's on the board. A touchdown scored by Xavier McClatty. Arroyo adds the extra point, 10-7, ARC on top of Hephzibah. But the Rebels are on the board.
Rebels are on the board. That's what you want to see if you're a Hephzibah. Get you a nice drive coming out to score a touchdown. And look how he stays back and stays parallel to the line of scrimmage. That's a beautiful pass and catch right there by your quarterback, giving it to your big-time receiver. Ooh.
Yeah, you see the glasses did fall off there at the end to show you just how strong that contact was, but it did not prevent McClatty from getting in, the 11th grader.
And he doesn't need those glasses because next year, for the first time in his whole life, he'll see 2020.
Ooh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
The year 2020 is coming up.
Oh, yeah,
Stick
right.
with me.
Yeah, 2020. Oh, yeah. For both of us wearing some type of corrective lenses, I should have known that. It's ARC who have the football. Not only are maybe some fakes out there on the field being applied, also one here in the booth as well. Here's a look at the replay.
Yeah, look at him trying to get to the outside, get to that sideline and find some room and get up. But decent job of coverage by Hephzibah.
Yeah.
Decent job of coverage.
Cordavian Wayman, we've seen him catch a couple of passes in the regular flow of the offense. That time he was on the kick return squad and took it out to where the Musketeers will start, almost smack dab at the 35-yard line. That's how we'll get things going. About 9.5 left, second quarter. 3-point lead for ARC over Hephzibah. Here's a parallel pass that was caught, and then 2 Rebels surrounding Chris Murray.
Yep. Ja'Cory and Enoch coming up, shedding the blockers. Look at him, get rid of the blockers and come up and make that wide receiver punish him. He's going to punish. Right now, that play right there, when they watch this tomorrow in the film room, wide receiver and his 2 blockers, they're going to have a conversation in the locker room. They're going to have a conversation about that play.
What a combo move that time, and a big jolt of confidence for Hephzibah, especially on defense. Here's a run for the Musketeers. Not much going that time either. Hephzibah was on it. Rashad Williams was the carrier for Richmond County.
Nicholas Collin brings him down on the end. Nicholas Collin rolling out from his linebacker spot to kind of shut that thing down on the outside. Big play, big time tackle. It seems like Hephzibah, they're a bit energized now.
Yeah, got that touchdown, and now it seems like that is transferred over to the defensive side of things for the men in red, white, and black. So third down now for Richmond County. Freeman had some protection. That one was high and over the outstretched hand, but a flag does come in, and the target that time was Ladarius Davis.
I don't know. That was close.
Yeah.
That was close. I think that's 50-50, but, you know, referees here, he might have had a better view than I did. Let's see that replay. Did he get there early? I don't think he got there early. I think he got there on time.
May have been exacerbated a little bit there by the towel flying off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Automatic first down. They're going to move him up 15 yards.
Well, benefit for the Musketeers and what has been a pretty clean game so far.
Mm-hmm.
Only the
That's the first flag. Nope. Yep.
Just a second.
Second. Yeah.
So only 2 pieces of yellow so far, and we're about 8 minutes to go before halftime. So that benefits the Musketeers with a penalty. 1st and 10 at the 45. Here's a carry. A little bit more room that time, but Hephzibah is starting to maybe figure out the run game a little bit that's going, and it seems like the Musketeers have changed it up now to go to Rashad Williams for runs, and that's who took it that time.
Mm-hmm. Now we want to find our man, Mr. Davis. You want to put that horse back in the game.
Right.
You know, he's been pounding them on the other side. He's been pounding them going down the other side of the field. So let's see what happens. You got a 3-headed monster back there for running back for ARC.
Isaiah Dorsey, Israel Dorsey were carrying it a bundle for ARC early. Now it's changed up a little bit. Here's a run that will get across the H at midfield, and that's a carry from Maurice Freeman. Freeman taking it on his own that time.
I like the young sophomore sticking his head down there, running the tough yards on that counter, that single counter for the quarterback. Pretty soon, though, he's young. He doesn't know. He'll have to learn to slide soon.
Right, yeah. It's one of those moves you do start to pick up on that. You take a couple of hits, and suddenly you learn the slide is the way to go. That's just a straight carry ahead. Doesn't look like any gain on the play.
Now, that's big time right there for the Hephzibah defensive line to step up. It was no backs in the backfield, running backs up close on the line. Everybody knows it's a quarterback sneak. That's a time where you have to show that you're a man.
Yeah.
It's no ifs, ands, or buts stood. And big job of stepping up by the Hephzibah defensive line. Let's see if they can do it again.
Well, ball will be placed at the 47. So 4th and 2 here for the Musketeers, and Hephzibah trying to make another stand. Just got one. Can they make it 2 in a row? They will. The Hephzibah Rebels on 4th and 2. Nothing going that time for Isaiah Dorsey.
I'll tell you, now that was huge. That was huge if you're the Rebel fans. And look at the Rebel fans. They're standing up and applauding their defense right there. That's how you step up on defense. Because I'm going to be honest, that first period, ARC was smacking the Rebels in the face.
Sure.
They were smacking them in the face, and now the Rebels, they woke up a little bit.
They did.
They didn't get the memo. It was a game. The game started at 7:30. They thought it was an 8:30 start.
And no doubt they are now fully into the game after not only offense but also defense. And on the ground there for the Musketeers, that's Ladarius Davis, who is down receiving some attention. Who got a little jumbled up after that last play. Davis is down, receiving some attention from the sideline personnel.
Let's see what they do. I think they're working on that knee area down there. Are they stretching that leg?
Looks like it.
Oh, that's my favorite horse.
Yeah, right?
That's Charlie.
Charlie.
That is Charlie right there coming out of it.
Well, first appearance for the Charlie horse tonight, possibly, but we hope that Ladarius Davis is okay. He's also being joined by Coach Lyle Burns down there as well. We'll let that injury situation continue. We'll step aside in a moment, come back and check on Davis here on SUVtv.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing about those Charlie horses, man. I remember as a youngster, I was in high school, after the game was the worst Charlie horse I ever experienced in my life. I was riding home. I had an 87 Ford Escort two-door stick shift. Hatchback. I was riding home, and I called a Charlie horse. I had to pull over inside a road and literally laid on the side of the road trying to stretch my leg out on the side of the car. Charlie horse is no fun.
No, and Ladarius Davis experiencing some of that. He is up now, and as you saw a couple moments ago, assisted off the sideline. So, again, as we were discussing on Wednesday, and we also discussed it pregame, one of those early season, maybe conditioning issues you're still trying to work out. Everyone's still fresh, trying to get into the groove.
Trying to get to that groove.
6:08 to go here before the break. 10-7. Richmond County on top of Hephzibah, but the Rebels resurgent here at home over the last 6 or 7 minutes. No, nothing that time. Chambers will air it out. Deep ball down the field. Almost caught. That was almost pulled in by Eric Harris. So close for Harris.
Give a great job to Taekwon Grissett. Look what Grissett did. Harris actually had that ball in his hand. Harris went up and got it. But look at Grissett. Stay with the play and put his hand in there and poke it out. Poke it out at the last minute. That's a great job of defense right there by Grissett. Great job. God, I'm getting too excited. I need to put on some pads, man. I got to go down there.
Grissett was all over Harris that time. Had that been caught, completed, and pulled in for a score, that would have prompted the biggest eruption of the night. As it is, it's second down. Chambers will roll out. He has that run pass option. He has the sprint out option, and he's using it right now. And he's got to find some room. He's finally tackled down at about the 43-yard line. He comes up with both arms in the football.
You got to get rid of that one.
Yeah.
Got to get rid of him. If you notice that play, he kind of started to roll a little bit to his left. His strength is rolling to his right and finding that receiver. Right now, he has to get rid of that ball. Once he realizes he has nothing and you can't break all those tackles and make it. It was a pretty good job of blocking by the offensive line, but the quarterback has to know when to get rid of that ball.
Jamichael Ryans was the one on Chambers. Third down for Hephzibah. One in the backfield. Harris, Javion Harris. Instead, it'll be Chambers again on his own. He has time, some protection. Nice ball. That one is caught and complete. Second chance works out for Eric Harris.
Eric Harris, let me check his gloves, man. He has some stickum on those gloves, man. Look at the hands. The first rule of being a wide receiver, catch the ball. You don't worry about that safety coming over the top. You don't worry about anything. Look at that. Kid went up there with real arms, no alligator arms. Got that thing in and caught it with two hands, took the hit, and pulled it in. That's a big-time play by that young man.
And that was Taekwon Grissett again on Eric Harris. He got him the first time, but as the song says, second time around, it worked out for Harris. He pulled it in, complete. Hephzibah going, first down. Looking towards the 30 and beyond. And that one was tipped. A little bit of pressure applied by Cordavian Wayman, who was in on it.
But you know what? That was an incomplete pass, but I still like that pass from Chambers because Chambers was feeling the pressure on the outside, and when he threw it, even though it looked like it was an interception, but it was out of bounds, so it didn't matter. That was still, you'll take that. You'll take that rather than giving up an 8-yard loss.
Yeah, that's fine. Instead of a possible interception or throwing something the other way and letting Academy of Richmond County get something going with defensive momentum, instead just incomplete. So the Mo that we talked about pregame, one of those 3 pregame keys, is still intact for the moment for Hephzibah, and the Rebels and Chambers will call a timeout.
The big Mo.
That's it.
Now I want you to notice something. What I spied out my little eye, the corner of my eye, I saw a lightning strike over on the other side of the trees. Now, what's going to happen, we did have some thunderstorms roll through here. That lightning gets a little bit close. Be careful for the delay could be coming up. I don't want to speak it into existence.
Right.
I'm not going to speak it into existence.
Yeah, there were a couple of rain showers on my way down. I know I think everyone ran into a little bit of precipitation. Some of them were pretty hardy thunderstorms and rain showers, and that's one thing that I looked at on the way here. And as I pulled into the parking lot, looking at the extended forecast, what would happen where we are now, just 9 minutes past 8 o'clock, what would happen at 9 or 10 if it goes to that point. We should be out of here by then, but you never know. But the weather, as your eyes just told you, could be a possibility, something to keep an eye on.
You never know, man.
No, especially not, like you said, it's 95 plus degrees, hot during the day, just a typical almost Labor Day, late afternoon thunderstorm. Hephzibah will again talk it over. Chambers and company were ready to go out and see if they could undo the incomplete pass.
Hey, did I call it? Did I call it?
That is for weather.
I got to start playing the lottery.
Wow. Yeah, that is definitely a lottery-winning call. As soon as you said it, a couple of moments later, both teams now will come off of the field. Hephzibah was ready to head out and continue their drive, but then weather, Mother Nature, played a factor.
This is the funny thing about a lightning delay. The players, the referees, the coaches, everybody goes inside, but the fans stay in the metal bleachers.
They're going to
They're
going to stick it out and wait for the resumption of play. So now we are in a holding pattern as it is, and we will see when we can get this football game back underway. And before we take a break, a couple of thoughts about what we saw and what we have seen so far here before we get to halftime. Hello again, everyone. Corey Hodges, Sylvester Williams here with you. We're not as formal as we were at the start, but it's hot. It is hot in the press box and hot outside, but we saw a resurgence from Hephzibah there, especially so far here in the second quarter. They got a touchdown, and they put it into the end zone from Xavier McCladdy. Before that, it was ARC that was looking like they would maybe run away. They were up 10-0, but now it's just 10-7 with 4:36 to go before the break and a weather delay at the moment. A couple things you saw there in the, quarter and a half so far, Sly?
A tale of 2 quarters.
Yeah.
A tale of 2 quarters. ARC came out and they looked like world beaters. They came out and they looked like bullies. I'm going to be honest with you. They looked like bullies the way they were smacking the Rebels in the face.
Right.
And that first quarter, especially that first drive, they drove down the field. Bam, 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 bam. Right there, and the Rebels couldn't do anything about it. Second drive, when the Rebels got the ball, their first possession, the defense from ARC smacked the Rebels in the face.
Right.
Bam, forced them to kick out the end zone, and then they came and they kicked a 30-yard field goal to go up 10-0. But then, now you have your adjustments. Now, this is what I like to call, this is when the coaches make their money.
Right.
This is when the coaches earn their paycheck. Coach Arrell, whatever he said to his young men, he got them out here in this second quarter. Now you got a whole new team out here, and they're out there, and it was their turn.
Sure.
Their turn to smack ARC in the face.
And they did.
Now we got a 10-7 ball game. See how things happen? See how things move? Hey, coaches out here earning their money.
For sure. On the first night of the season, 8-3 last year for Hephzibah, and for ARC, 7-4. Of course, that was in 2018. It's the first game of the season. Someone's trying to start off 1-0. No one wants to go 0-1 in the first game of the season, but someone is going to be in that position tonight, and there will be, as always, one winner. But until we're able to decide some of these things, we have to wait, see what the weather does. Both teams have left the field. The fans are still remaining in the stands. We'll go ahead and step aside, and we'll come back and pick up with some more information and also some more analysis from the, well, not first half so far, the first quarter and a half. It's Hephzibah, the Rebels, and the Richmond Musketeers. It's the AugBball Game of the Week powered by SUVtv. About 4.5 minutes to go before halftime. We'll step aside and come back.
Stolen in the lane by Tracy. Here's Williamson, makes his way around one Titan. Now hustling in toward the lane and throws it down! That's what the crowd had been waiting on. A fantastic dunk coming in by Williamson. Elevated from almost the free throw line and finished strong. 7-point lead for Spartanburg Day, their biggest of the night. Three-pointer no good. Crawford in the lane finishes and one. A huge basket for Trinity Burns to get a little momentum and energy back on their side after it seemed like the entire gym was up for Spartanburg Day and Zion Williamson.
What is it about some places? The places where we feel a sense of fellowship, where service is of the highest priority, whether to each other or to ourselves, a journey familiar like a warm bath for the soul. Along the way we may get lost, but we always seem to find a friendly hand reaching out, guiding us the way back there, where we owe it to our younger selves. Just to feel like we're getting a little bit better at us. This place will always be there for you. This place is sacred. Because this place is home.
Oh my goodness, that's how you end the game, folks.